time, just raise your hands, and then you can ask me questions throughout, and at the end as well. So I am here to tell you my story, and I'm also here to share some words of wisdom that are from people who are now deceased or maybe living. So I love quotes. So I'll start with the first quote, which is from Aristotle, possibly. I don't know. Other people will say it might be miscellaneous. But it is, where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. So that's something I think about, is how important it is to find work that we love. And it sounds like all of you are doing that here, because you're not taking the easy route, and studying something safe. But I'm sure you've heard feedback from people that get a weird look when they say, yeah, I'm studying graphic design. So I think it's great. That's the first leap, that you are doing something you're passionate about. And that mirrors the tenets that I live by and that are on my website I'll show you later, which are passion, perseverance, and partnership. So I'm here today to talk about, more than anything, partnership, because that is the reason I interned at Rolling Stone and have every job you see on my resume, is because of someone who has helped me to find that opportunity. So I'm going to talk about networking first, building your network, and then I'll illustrate how that worked for me throughout my story and my career. So building your network from the ground up. I am here. Can you raise your hand, you guys all who have LinkedIn profiles? Nice. If you don't, it's okay, but I have the opportunity to make one. And I highly recommend you do before Design Week, because when you meet people Design Week, I recommend you add everybody, that you have met, and before you go. I think there's missed opportunities when people go to open houses or events, that those could be key people that can help you later, or you could help. So every person you are going to see, most of these events are free. I'm going to almost all free ones. Add people and say, I'm really excited to meet you, and introduce yourself, talk to them, and then message them later. And if you're brave, ask them to get coffee, for an informational interview. But really start building your network, because everybody in Portland knows everybody. And what I found out from recruiting for RGA is that globally everybody knows everybody as well in the industry. So that's a really invaluable opportunity with networking. And I started obviously with no connections. I went to school in North Carolina. A good example is I moved here and had zero connections, and really was strategic and made a list from A to Z, from adidas to Ziva, and started reaching out strategically. And the people you want to reach out to are not HR recruiters. They are creative directors and, people who design us. Because HR and recruitment don't know what you do, they don't care, and they're too busy. So, to all of you, raise your hand if you've been on an informational interview. Nice. Okay, good. And raise your hand if do you have a dream company that you want to work for? Raise your hand if you have a target. Okay, good. So if you don't, I think it's the perfect opportunity in Design Week with open houses to go and look and see what people are doing to find out where you want to be so you can target it. Because without a target, you don't really know where you're going. You need somewhere, to focus to where to be. And every piece of advice I've gotten from every single person in my business and my job is knowing what you want and telling every single person you meet, this is where I want to be. My dream is to work at Y Infinity, and telling everybody, so you might hear someone say, I have a friend that I want to connect to. So that's what's worked for me. Also, a lot of people will go to these informationals, and I'm curious, have you, raise your hand if you followed up, after, or kept in touch with the people you've met with? Somewhat. So that's what I hear often do, which is common, because it's unclear and scary as to how to keep in contact with people. So the way I always think of it as somebody planting a beautiful garden and then it dies because you don't water it. And the opportunity to do that is to reach out if you see something that happened with them, by looking in the news and saying, I saw you have this new client, I saw you were speaking at TEDx, so you're top of mind. And then mentioning, I'm also available in the bunch of work, where you are. So really keeping in contact is important. And I think too, people are scared and worried, like, how do I meet these people? And the best way is if you're in person at networking events, so you actually meet them, look in their eye, and they know you. If not, an introduction's also great, because then you know something in common, so you're more likely not a mass murderer, but you could be, And then another way, which I love, is an email, LinkedIn message, but the best is mail. Because when I was recruiting, I received thousands of emails and thousands of LinkedIn connections, and I met with maybe 5% of the people who invited me to coffee, but I met with 100% of the people that sent me a letter or a piece of mail saying, I'd love to take you to coffee and hear about your story and the company you work for. So really think about girl designers, sending something beautiful and just asking people out. And just to remove the emotion from it, send 100, pieces of mail versus 5. And, the more seeds you plant, the more return you'll see on that investment. But that's the way to go over applying for jobs online. You can do that, but I went to a party at Adidas and I heard the average number of applicants is 100 to 1,000 per job posting. So it's very unlikely you will get a job if you apply online. You can try, but it's less likely. The way that my story unfolds, it will illustrate that is not the way I've gotten the jobs that I had. So do you guys have any questions about, ask me anything, about that kind of strategy, about reaching out to people, keeping in contact? Do you guys have any questions? Before I dive into it.
I guess for me, sorry, right there.
Yeah, ask me anything.
I find it hard because, I'm not the most extroverted person, and so, trying to, approach people in, public parties and stuff, it's just, super intimidating, and I also feel like I have, this, I want to get a job, and, I'm talking to you, not mainly because of that, but basically, yes. I think it's awkward, I don't want to be, just trying to get stuff from people, but I also feel like that's kind of the main intention that I have.
Absolutely. And the way to reframe that situation is I go right back to thinking about you're connecting with people for a partnership that's mutually beneficial, not because you want something from them, but because you have something to offer to them as well. So I reach out to people, and if you don't feel comfortable, which it's not always fun, hi, I'm at this party, what's your name? It can be awkward and loud and confusing. I think reaching out, if you're more introverted or less comfortable, via mail, via just sending something in a FedEx or an email, something beautiful and that they think, wow, when it hits their desk, is an opportunity. And then making it about them, not I want a job, but I saw your LinkedIn, really personal. I saw that before you were at Nike, you were at Lululemon, and you're keen. And I want to hear about your story and get your advice. And that's it. So it's about them. And then really studying their LinkedIn, the website, the news, and talking about them and asking their advice and making it 80-20 about them or 90-10. Really 80 to 90%. Tell me your story, tell me your advice. How can I get to where you are now? And then at the end saying, I love Keen, or whatever it is. And my dream is to be here and I can add value. And these are examples of what I've done and what I want to do. And so it's not you saying, because I have so many talent, thousands, I think I have right now 4,750 LinkedIn connections, from being a recruiter. And I have talents that only say to me, do you have a job? Do you have a job? No, I see you're here. Do you have a job for me here? Do you have a job for me here? Guess what I'm not giving a job to? Those people, But the people I am are people that say, I saw that RGA won Agency of the Year at Cannes. That's awesome. I saw that Adidas, I don't know, Kanye sold out Madison Square Garden and you're working for Adidas. How amazing. Something that is specific. And then here's a passion project I did. And offering, you guys are all designers, so here's something real to offer people to say, if you have a friend who needs pro bono graphic design for a business card or whatever it is, I'm available. Please share my info. So I don't know, raise your hand if you guys have been on Switchboard. Have you ever been on Switchboard HQ? So I definitely recommend you all check it out. It's Mara Zepeda. It spun off from Leiden, and it has asks and offers. So it's about people asking for things and offering things. And in all these conversations, I recommend you are asking, but you're also offering. So it becomes a partnership and not just a one-way, give me a job, I want help, what can you do for me? Because nobody really enjoys that. So, and really going to places you're excited to be, because this is the thing I've heard from hiring managers, is that person doesn't want this job, they want a job. So don't be that person. Be a person that they say, their dream is to work here. And that is how every job I've had, I've received. So I'll tell you about that. And you guys can raise your hand if you have more questions. Let's see. Okay. So you guys do this pretty well, right?
Yeah.
So, and you have my resume, so I'm like gonna have to remember. I'm like, what have I done? So I'm turning 40 in October, so it's been a bit. So I was a studio art major at Wake Forest, which nobody has heard of. If you're, I don't know, have you ever heard of Wake Forest? Tim Duncan, anybody? Spurs? So 2 people, and Portland's not a big place. It's a southern school. I went because I wanted to experience the South, which was really delicious. It was wonderful. And thought, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't know how. Raise your hand. How many of you have heard someone look at you like crazy for studying graphic design? Or your family, like, you're not going to get a job, be a business major. Okay, so just silence all of that, or just smile and nod and go, okay, thanks for the advice, and move on. Because there's no point in, you can't like reason with crazy, so just don't even worry about it. But the actions speak louder than words, and not revenge, but success is the best revenge, So I heard that from everybody. Is you're insane? Why are you studio art? I mean, that's just making art, which I didn't want to be an artist. I just enjoyed doing it. But I thought, what do I love? And I love publishing, and I loved going to Barnes & Noble and looking through all the magazines. So I thought, I would love to intern for a magazine. And the thing is, it's not easy maybe to get a job at XYZ company, but it's a lot easier to get an internship. So raise your hand if you've had an internship. Have any of you? Okay, good. And then if not, I highly recommend you are looking for one. If that's something in a place that's amazing that you could learn a lot and build your network. So I called the number. This is back in the 90s where people were answering the phone. And they said, yes, we'll meet with you. And then, yes, you can intern here, which was incredible. And, got to answer the phone and score bricks and, transfer calls and just see what a photo producer did. And that's how I realized that's what I want to do. And that was my passion at the time. So amazing. That's when it was this big and people, maybe I don't know if people started it, but I loved it. And that was the spark that said I'm going to move forward and pursue being a photo producer. So I was from Connecticut, and this was an easy, train ride for me to live in the city with 10 of my friends in an apartment. But then I thought, I'm going to move to LA because it's, so warm and welcome. So it's not easy. This is a magazine which has since folded, Detour, and it was my top favorite magazine in the world. David LaChapelle was their main photographer, and I love everything they did. I mean, look at the bottom left is Sean Penn, and all it says is back off. It's basically a magazine that's like, we don't care, we're just going to do what we want to do, and it's awesome. So I called them and said, I've interned with Rolling Stone, can I come work with you? And they're like, sure, you can intern with us. These are all free unpaid internships. So people are pretty excited, for me to come and be there. So I loved it, but they did not have a role for me. So while I was interning, I was also working for Brad Pitt's ex-roommate at a soap store, so make money. So on my resume, you're not seeing that I worked at Toy Works and that I interned, that I don't know, cut vegetables at a vegetarian catering place, and was a nanny. There's a whole sub-story behind this. That was, involved eating ramen, but I'm showing you what's on my resume. So I continued while I was interning and working at the soap store to informational and to reach out to places I loved. And I went to it's not Condé Nast in LA. So I went to Los Angeles Magazine and I said, my dream is to work for Los Angeles Magazine. I moved from New York. I'm waiting by the phone. I love Los Angeles Magazine. Then I went to Out in the Advocate. And I said, my dream is to work for Out in the Advocate. I moved from New York to Los Angeles to work for Out in the Advocate. I'm waiting by the phone. So none of these people had jobs, and this is all of the places on my resume. None of them had jobs, but they knew I was waiting and that it was my dream to work there. So when they had an associate photo producer role, they called me, and I took it, and I loved it. So I worked for Out in the Advocate for 3 years as an associate photo producer, and HIV Plus Magazine as the lead photo producer. And I hope it's clear that a lot of you might think, well, how do I get this? It's a catch-22 because I don't have this robust experience they want, but I needed to get the job. is the way to get it is someone on the inside to say, this is the person we need, we're going to groom them, to learn. Because you have that basic set of skills. So I love photo producing. If any of you are interested, let me know. I can tell you about it since we're here. So I worked there. Also worked for The Advocate. Have any of you guys ever read The Advocate? It's not a big magazine. Okay, nice, good. It's gay and lesbian. It's LGBTQ advocacy, and Advocate is news, out of fashion, obviously. And I feel like it really had an impact. I meet people that came from different cities that said I'd read the magazine with a flashlight under my bed, my bed before my parents was on me. It's horrible. But now they have a family that come to us and we give them support systems. Did any of you guys watch Different Strokes or Facts of Life? I know. I was like, I thought this is being told for you. But I went to this elderly home and met this couple who were in because they weren't sure, they didn't feel comfortable, but they came out to me. And this person in the wheelchair, Lionel, was one of them. So I was able to have them tell their story on a national level. So really meaningful work that I loved. So then I moved to Portland. And there's no publishing in Portland. There's, Portland Monthly, but they don't have a photo producer. They have an art director. And I thought, what's going on here? It's really about apparel and Adidas, Columbia, Sportswear, etc. So reached out to people to meet me and said, I clearly don't have that specific linear experience, but I have transferable skills and used my strategy. So called somebody at Adidas. Nike's like that wall you can't get through. Reach out if you go to Nike. It'll keep you off if you're wearing Adidas. Even if you go to the store. If you go shopping at the Nike store, they say no competitor product, please. They want you to leave the store. So it's really serious. And I called Nike and they were like, who do you know? Nobody. Click. So I love Nike, but it's definitely you need to know somebody. Adidas is a little more open, and I was able to meet with a photo producer. And I just said, I love what you've done. Tell me about your story. And then I asked at the end, which you have the opportunity to ask, what is causing you stress and how can I relieve it? And she said, this is back in the day, I have a million portfolios. I have a million emails. I cannot return them all. I can't get lunch. I'm too busy. I said, I'm going to come in tomorrow and return all your portfolios, FedEx them, drop them off, and return all your emails and get you lunch. She's like, you're hired. So telling people, I'm going to take care of your problem. Companies are only going to hire you to make or save them money. And so you have to figure out how you can illustrate how you're going to do one or both. So really excited to join the Adidas team as a photo producer. And it's so funny, I went back to LA because I lived there, and helped with these photo shoots. This is one of my friends, Molly, who was soft on the budget, so I hired her, and it was fun to work with friends. Oversaw all the apparel and footwear, worked with photographers, retouchers, like location scouts, kind of all of the above, and it's super fun. So if anyone's thinking of photo, do it, the best. So yeah, all the models are great, just everybody, it's like such a team effort. I really love it. So I was at Adidas, and then thought, I need more, I'm going to branch out. So I started doing photo producing for Intel, which is fun, but not as exciting. But it was fun working with kids. So we had scenes like, this is in Africa, but it's really, next door, like a block away. So making different scenes, so it looked like there was an India, Africa. And I hit a wall, which I think most of you will with your career, where you feel like you're not being inspired. And you are doing the same thing. And maybe you, right now, are excited to make a mobile app, but after you've made 1,000, you're like, I can't make a mobile app. So I hit a wall with photo producing. I felt like I was not really growing, and that everything was going interactive, which it is. Are all of you right now focused on interactive and print and all of the above? Okay, so this was, I don't know, it's early in the 2000s. And I thought, I want to learn and grow individually, professionally, personally. So I was working for CMD, Creative Media Development. And I knew nobody would hire me as an interactive producer because I had no experience. So I said to them, I clearly can produce a shoot with hundreds of talent and these high-end clients, etc. Can you please hire me as a photo interactive producer and really and teach me, and I can do it, because I'm incredible. So they said yes. And that's how I wound up working there for, I don't know, almost 4 years. And they taught me how to be an interactive producer, an event producer, video, all of the above for all their tech clients, like Intel, Microsoft, HP, yada, yada, yada. And I learned a lot. It was really rewarding, but I wasn't feeling really satisfied at the end of the day. I did a lot of volunteer work, but didn't feel that feeling in your heart that I was like, this is the right thing for me. So I started talking to people again and saying, what might give me more energy, or I don't know, just make me happier, feel like I'm giving back to the world instead of making this 4-5 salad, which probably to me, is a that's a great budget though. So I just started talking to people, and a lot of people were leaving CMD and applying online. And I said to everybody, I'm not going to apply to one job online, and I'm going to get coffee with a bunch of people, and I will have the job before you do. And they're like, really? I'm like, yes. So I did, and that is how I went to Aquin and Vitamin T, because they're a placement agency, which you can all ask me about later. Raise your hand. Has anyone have reached out to you from a placement agency? Okay, so I can tell you about that later if you have questions, after. But they were wanting to build their adidas brand, from the ground up, their business, and start placing people at adidas. I knew I worked there, so had a conversation with me. And this is another illustration of how important it is to have someone on the inside that cares about you. Is someone, Jake Thacker, called me, we talked. He's now recruiting for Under Armour, so check out, what they're doing here. And they thought I was a good culture fit. I worked at Adidas. Clearly, I can do what needs to be done. But I talked to HR, and HR can be very linear, so can recruiters. So I was a producer, I know what you guys do. I've produced, huge campaigns, but recruiters and HR often haven't had that experience, so they have no idea what you do, and just maybe not don't know what's going on as well. So I talked to HR. She said, have you worked in a metrics-based environment? Have you placed so many people? Have you done so many interviews? And I was like, no. And she said, you're not a good fit. We're going to pass on you. I was like, okay, and just be gracious. Don't be the person that's like, why? Because they'll never call you again. So she kindly rejected me, and I said, thank you. And then they both called me, Vitamin T and Aquin, and said, we disagree, and we want to offer you both, an opportunity. So it just shows when you are being brought in from someone internally, it's more likely you will be hired. And I didn't know this till later, but I was like, these people are so nice and they really want to help me. And then later I realized, wait a minute, almost all the people that helped me get in received a $3,000 to $4,000 Rikers reward. So that's good for them too. And there's a lot of that going on in Portland. So people really have an incentive to help you as well, beyond just being nice. So recruited for Adidas, and I don't know, recruitment, there's, again, a billion people that want to be the Nike, or this is Adidas, basketball creative director, and they come to us, to the agencies, because we know everybody, and I know the perfect person, and that's how I place someone, at Adidas that had that role. Also recruited for Columbia, which I love, and I can recommend. My friends are really happy. If you guys can tour these places or meet people and go to all the campuses and see, raise your hand if you guys go to Columbia. Have you been to Nike? Adidas. I think you can go to the Adidas employee store pretty easily and just call and say, do you guys have anything where I can donate something? They're more open. But you'll be surprised at design week who you can meet, who works there, who will get coffee with you. So you can check out the campus and see if you think it's a good culture fit, But I love all those places. So Nike recruited for them as well. And I also still love photo producing. This is their Kenyan runners, which I have nothing to do with, but I think it's so beautiful. So still following, what people are doing and enjoying, things really fast. And then, raise your hand if you guys heard of RGA. So they are very known globally, not as well locally. But they opened their office here and doubled the size. So I worked there for a year helping to increase the size of the office. And again, hired by somebody, internally referred. I love their work. If you haven't seen Love Has No Labels, check it out. It's about, they have these people go behind a screen like this, and they all look like skeletons. And then they come out, and you can see like an interracial couple, or a priest and a rabbi. So really how underneath we're all skeletal at the end. So I really love their work. Yeah, and they're having, actually they have an event that's sold out, because so after I left RGA, I decided to start my own company, and let's see. Close this. Oops. Oh, this. Yeah, let's go to, yeah. Actually, let's go to the website. Thanks. Thank you so much. So even when I'm not working in a company, I'm always looking for passion projects. Do you guys, right now you're in school, so you're probably busy, but raise your hand if you guys had any personal passion projects that you're working on outside of school. That's great, because people really love that. And when you graduate and you have more bandwidth, I really encourage you to reach out to people. This is really bad branding, really bad in Portland, that needs a facelift. And I see it all the time, and it's painful. For really good places, and reach out and offer your services so your portfolio doesn't only have spec work, it has client work as well. So even when I wasn't working, I'm always working on passion projects. This is one, my brother-in-law is in the Coast Guard, and he designs this apparel. So he designed this, and these are my little nieces and nephews, so had a friend who's a photographer shoot this and helped with this website. But really, it's great to keep it going, and even if you leave photo producing, continue to do it on a level you're excited about. So I thought I kind of looked around at career coaches, and you guys can Google it, there aren't that many, there's a few, but not any that are hitting my target audience, which are people that want to work at Wyman, or I don't know, Instrument, or Nemo, and all of the apparel companies. So I thought, I'm just gonna do it, I love it. We'll see how it goes. So I launched my site in January. I thought, who do I want to work with? And my dream creative director created all of these items, which I love. Woodsman Tavern. I just think his work, so this to me is Portland, and it is Stumptown Portland. How many of you guys have seen this? So I just love it. I think it's really authentic and reminiscent of our culture, and oh my gosh, it's so funny. So this was designed by Andy Morris, who was at Stumptown for years as a creative director and has since left and created Shamble Arrow, which is now his company. I think he's launching Worst with Olympia Conditions on Friday. So he does great work. So I reached out and said, you're my dream creative director. Will you be my creative director? And he's accepted. So I worked with him, and I gathered a team from an art director from Instrument, and a writer from Nike, photographer, all of the above, and just had a creative kickoff for my brand. And I really wanted it to be Portland and authentic, accessible. And this is my website. So have any of you guys seen this? If you haven't, check it out. Nice, thanks. So go check it out. It's on my business card. So they helped me with the color palette and the copy, all of the above. So I decided I want to help people, but I also want to give back. And I'm going to lose myself. But so I didn't even want to have a picture. I'm like, I need to have one. And that's good I do because now I'm in events. But I decided, you guys know Tom's Shoes, how you buy a pair, get a pair? I decided I'm going to just copy them. And with each session, I give also donate a session to people in need. So I'm working with Dress for Success and Central City Concern and systems to help people as well. So I think that's really important. And we've all heard, you give a person a fish, you feed them for a day, teach them to fish, feed them for life. But I read something at Mercy Corps that said that the pond needs to be accessible to everybody. And it's really not. So that's why I'm helping a lot of people that might not be privy to that information as well. So that's my site. Also, testimonials from people, I think. Oh no, actually, this is how it went down. This is what's happened in my life. So I popped down Malaysia in Seoul, North Carolina. This I worked. This is the most important piece of this entire site, which is my sister wrote this story, and I don't know if you can see on the top, she was born with the second line. I was adopted, and my family's Caucasian, so my sister thought I was born from a black family and adopted from a white family, and that's when my mom's Spanish color. So I put this on my website, so I think it's pretty awesome, and I think you just be yourself, and whenever you can, just to get testimonials from people you've worked with so you have that credibility, on your LinkedIn, wherever it is. So I have people that I've helped that now work at Nike, and adidas and all of the above. So Nemo Design. So people can see there's credibility there, and I've had this experience. So yeah, and then partnership, it goes back to, that's why I have the partners. I can get here alone and have some of my creative team on here. So more. So that is the journey, that I have taken. And I want to just end before I ask you guys, you can ask me some questions. There's this quote by Dick Parsons, the former Time Warner CEO. And he said, "Someone once told me that the secret to success is being the person who other people want to see succeed. It's more important than talent, brains, or luck." So I just really encourage you to meet people at places you really want to be passionate about and ask them to help you. And that goes back to my 3 tenets, which are passion, perseverance, and ambition. So thank you guys. Thanks. You guys, I want to answer any questions you have about networking, about, my experience, segueing, anything, or anything at all. You guys say. And I encourage you too, if you ever go, when you meet people for informational interviews, or in general, your questions. Then they'll always ask you, if you should just ask somebody when you meet for coffee.
So talking about passion, how do you feel, do you feel like you were always passionate about something, or was it more of a journey of trying out something okay, I'm gonna not pretend like I'm passionate, because you were talking about I'm waiting for the call or whatever, but how did that play out?
That's an excellent question, because I'll say that I wasn't as passionate about this interactive, producing, but I was passionate about growing in my career. So definitely. So, and sometimes, no matter what, it's winter or chicken dinner. Sometimes you just do it for dinner because it's a great budget and you have to work. So I absolutely think, yeah, sometimes it's good to think throughout your path. You might have to do something strategically, but really always be thinking for the long game, or what you are passionate about. And if you're not doing something you're passionate about, how you can find something you are, because life is too short. So, and I try to think, it's funny because a lot of people think, well, how much money are you making and how's this helping your career, which is important. But one of my friends said to me, how do you feel when you go to work? How do you feel when you come home? I think that's really important. I mean, we are people on this planet and life is too short to be miserable. So I really start thinking, how am I feeling? And check in with yourself when you go to work every day, when you come home, when you're talking to a manager. Am I feeling good? Am I feeling supported? Or am I feeling dismissed and kind of crummy? So yeah, think about that too. Yeah. And if you don't have passion in your job at the time, find opportunities to volunteer with Hands on Portland or give back to the community or do passion projects. So you always have something. Yeah.
Could you talk about how social media plays into the recruitment process and what we should be thinking about for that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So every recruiter is different, but I definitely encourage you all to look and follow places you like on LinkedIn, on Twitter, all of the above. I mean, I'm not as much on Instagram, but other people are. So wherever, I can't tell you how many people I know that went to a concert because it was on Twitter and no, they would not have known, or found a job because somebody tweeted it. So be looking on and really strategically at the places you want to be or the people you want to follow. And that's how you can build relationships too. I mean, I am not a Twitter user myself, but so many people I know have found jobs because they have been following someone for years and they knew that person really liked them. So they're connected already. Or they saw them on LinkedIn and so they were both connected, saw a post, etc. So I would just say utilize all the social media platforms to your advantage and connect with people you are interested in. And really, going back to LinkedIn, because I love LinkedIn personally, connect with everybody because people, when they meet you, might see who you know in common, and that could push you over the edge to get an opportunity. I have definitely reached out to people because they have a few LinkedIn connections with me that can vouch for them versus none. And they're a complete stranger that could be a mess with them. So, yeah, connect with everybody that you're interested in specifically.
Would you say that there are specific social media platforms that are like better for making those connections, like Twitter and LinkedIn, or are they all pretty like it? Do you have any ones that you would specifically recommend to people?
I recommend those. I definitely know a lot of people use, all of them, but I think really what you should do is figure out where you want to work, who you want to work for, and then what platforms that person's using. So if you go to the company website, you'll see if they're more active on which social platforms they'll have it at the bottom of their website. And then you can start following them. And then when you meet them, or ask them to coffee, you can say, I love that post that you just, presented, whatever it is, so they know you're following their story. Yeah, so go to the website of where you want to be and then start sinking into their platforms, yeah. And that's a huge opportunity. I placed, countless community managers that only deal with social media at adidas, Nike, and Columbia. So yeah, it's important for you to be looking at all those platforms. Absolutely.
Dan, what sort of engagement should we be doing on LinkedIn? I have a LinkedIn profile. Should I be posting projects to it? What is the best way to do this?
For your profile, I would have it short and sweet, and lean, because you're all designers, so your book is the most important piece. And definitely have a hot link to your book. Or I think, there's a way you can have your company be your, personal company, so it can hot link when it says where you are now. Or just put it in your website so people can copy and paste it. And have it be success metrics. Like I drove the strategy for this piece or the creative direction. I created the color palette, whatever it is. So it's not, I just did this and I was part of a team, which is great, but what part did you own? So that would be the profile part. And then have it be short and sweet because nobody wants to read a novel. I think the average time a recruiter spends on anything is 11 seconds. So you really need all your links to work, QA all of them, and all your copy to be perfect. Partner with a writer who's a professional writer or, a writing major, and give them design and trade. And then I wouldn't post personal projects unless there's something you're really excited about and they're a passion project, then yeah, I would. If it's something you really think is amazing, check this out, this is what it does. Something short and sweet, no link. But I think that something that would resonate with people more is something in the news that you're excited about. Because I like posting that, I don't even know if I should have, that Kat Gordon, she just held the Cannes jurors more accountable, that they can't look at work that objectifies women, and with less bias. So things like that might be more global, that it shows you're paying attention, or reposting people's things from these clients that you want to work with. Look at this amazing work, that Wildfang partnered with Uncorked and Ziva into this women's website. So it shows you're really paying attention and people are really excited about that. And then once in a while you can mix in your personal projects too. Or quotes, the VP of Nike is always posting these incredible quotes that I love. So something, short, sweet, and eye-catching visually. Yes, yeah.
You mentioned you would talk about the not recruiting agencies.
Oh yeah, placement agencies. So placement agencies, let's see. There are a lot of them. There are a few, to name a few. I worked at Filter briefly. Filter, 8 Vitamin T, 52 Limited, Mathis and Testio, Creative Circle, 24/7, they go on and on. So these are agencies which all have a different set of clients, and they're working with this huge talent pool locally and globally to place people with those clients. So this is all off the record. I always like to say when I meet with anybody, thanks for not disclosing this later, because it's a small town, and I don't want you to go to someplace and be like, Christine LaPorte had this talk, and she said, but I want you guys to be successful, to be candid with you. So I encourage you to be very clear and candid when you meet with placement agencies, because I've seen that sometimes placement agencies will place you or submit you for a job without you knowing. So you have to tell them, do not submit me to anything without telling me. And then say it's your dream job at Nike and XYZ place submits you and so does someone else. They'll kick you out and you will not be considered because the client does not want to get involved. So you have to be really candid, don't submit me. And then you have to be candid about the places you know, because once they say they place you at Nemo, and then they will own that relationship for about a year or more. So really read the paperwork of how long will this placement agency own this relationship between me and this client. There are a lot of, I would say, proceed with caution when you talk to people. They can find you great opportunities, but you have to be clear with them and they have to be clear with you about everything. And your rates, all of the above. There are incredible opportunities. When I was at Acorns, I did get hundreds of people into companies they otherwise would not have been able to get into because they were getting lost in the noise, and I had clear relationships with my clients and said, here's 3 perfect people, and then they'd hire one. And I talked to my candidates all the time. We were on the phone, I'd go have lunch with them, but unfortunately I've heard that that was few and far between for most of my candidates and most of my talent. They said, I've worked with other agencies and they don't call me and they don't visit me, they don't know what I'm doing. They're giving me jobs that are coders and they're designers, or they're offering me jobs that are way below or above my skill set. So I would say that's a relationship in itself. If you have a recruiter who's giving you perfect opportunities at your dream place, that's a good relationship. But if they're giving you opportunities that you have no interest in, you have no interest in, that aren't a fit for your skill set, that's not a good relationship. And maybe you have to think about how much time or energy you're putting into it. Yeah. So just be really candid and don't sign anything unless you feel so comfortable. And I'm on LinkedIn, so you can add me and then shoot me a question if you have a question about it. Absolutely. So you don't want to get locked into a low rate and then not be able to, for the company to take you on if they can't afford it, because they'd have to pay a 20% finder's fee. It is a bit easier and cleaner if you go directly to a company. But if they have a role you couldn't get in and they're the only ones, it could be. Any questions about that? I know. Proceed with caution. That's all right. But soon those people are all going to be reaching out to you because that's, a big target for them, which is good. They can help you find something. But yeah, just be clear about what you want and you with yourself and with everybody. That's how you'll get it. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Do you have any advice for writing cover letters?
So I'm going to say yes. One is, I'm going to tell you, every cover letter I've written, this is just personal, has been a sentence. And it said, I would be honored to work at the moving ship that is RGA, or something like that. Because I'm getting in from somebody internally, so they don't even care, they're not reading it. The likelihood of someone reading a cover letter you write is slim. But if they do read it, who knows? Make it about the company, because I see so many, I'm great, enough about me, what do you think about me, in their cover letter, and I just want to reply with nobody cares about you, I have stuff to get done here, we need help. So I make it about the company, how your dream is to work for, XYZ company, and you love AKQA, you follow everything they do, or Wyden, and really, make it about them, and maybe a piece of work they did recently that resonated with you, and then how you can provide value, but short and sweet. And if you know something inside, name drop that immediately, because that will be more likely. When I hired maybe 100 people at RGA, I think 95% were referrals. And that was from LinkedIn, from internal referrals, etc. 2 people I hired for full-time jobs had applied online, 2 out of 30 full-time roles. The rest were freelance. One was an iOS developer, so it's a really specific skill set, and the other one was an HR person. And I saw she were in triathlons. I was like, "You're hired." You know, she was like a perfect culture fit. But in general, if you are a designer, developer, producer, you have to. It's much better to get in from someone on the inside who can vouch for you. Yeah, short and sweet.
As an early designer, I haven't really had any, like, I guess, approaches to people where there would be an interview. I guess I'm just kind of interested if you could, like, explain ways to be prepared for an information interview. If you don't really have a big collection of work, how you can still offer your skills and what you have to show.
Yeah, for informationals, definitely, again, it's nice because you can, with the internet, you can just prepare to speak to their LinkedIn, speak to their website, and speak to the news tab. So that's what you're talking about first. And then at the end, it doesn't have to only be your work. You can say what you love, what excites you, and what you want to do. Because I've heard so many hiring managers say they don't know what they want to do. They're kind of like love everything. So, and if you go to someone and say, I don't know what I want to do, I like everything, they're like, I can't help you. You know, so know when you go in to say, I love designing apps. I love designing, I don't know, whatever it is, you know, campaigns, whatever you're passionate about. I want to, partner with UX designers, whatever it is, but really know what you want. So when you go in, you can speak to what you're passionate about, speak to what's inspiring you, because that will show that you are out there, you're interested, and you will bring that passion to the office. Also speak about I would say definitely, like as soon as you graduate, start working on passion projects. And like say, I'm partnering with this, people love heartstrings, with some like nonprofit, and offering them my design skills. So you might have a lean portfolio, but it shows you are out there and you're doing things. And I have interviewed hundreds of people when I say, what are you doing? And when they say applying for jobs online, I'm like, well, I think I'm not gonna hire you because you're clearly gonna come here and do the job, but nobody wants to hire someone that will come and do the job. They only want to hire someone that's going to come and add value. So I hire people that say, I'm taking this coding class, I'm going to design week, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm doing all these things, and I'm really excited. So I know they'll come to the office and bring that, extra value to the projects and clients. So yeah, so you can round it out. Any other questions for you guys? Check time. Oh yeah, okay. Anything at all? Yeah.
So obviously, when you're going into a coffee date, so to speak, you're bringing some stuff about you. You're bringing your enthusiasm. You're bringing questions. Are there any tips or insights that maybe we want to originally think about going into that we should take into consideration?
Yes, I would also say at the end, definitely prepare those questions. Those are good questions for me. And if you don't have any, here's a few good ones. One is, what is the most exciting project they're working on? I like asking what they find most rewarding and most challenging, because you want to know about the company culture. I would ask, what's the company culture like? And you can tell when someone says, we're working on it, it's terrible, or it's great, blah, 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 blah. And I recommend to try to get there 15 minutes early. Tell the receptionist, do not call Joe Schmo at, I'm meeting for 3, it's 2:45, but can I use the bathroom? And then use the bathroom and scat it out and see, are people happy or is it dark? Are people depressed? You can see, what are people wearing? Are there dogs? Do you like dogs? Are you allergic? Do you want to bring your dog? Ask them about soft benefits, because a lot of places don't only focus on your salary. You can make a great salary in a place you're bored to tears, and you are so depressed and you don't feel inspired. You can make maybe a little less, but they have a stocked kitchen, and what are the soft benefits? They pay for lunch catered every week. They have all these great offsites. Whatever it is, they have gym membership. They're climbing, gyms, all this stuff. There's so many soft benefits. And if you drive, ask if they have parking, because if you accept a job downtown, I've heard these horror stories. They're like, I didn't ask, they made an offer. That is $3,000 or $4,000 more a year, if you're driving downtown. Do they pay for a bus pass? All those things. Ask about those benefits. Also at the end, when you're just having coffee, say, is there something missing in my book? Or just give me feedback on how I present myself. my portfolio, whatever, because it's not an interview, you're just talking. And just like give it to me straight, give me candid feedback. And they could say, I didn't see that you had whatever it is, Sketch. Everybody's like using Sketch, you know? So like maybe if you hear that from 100 people, maybe you should go home and like learn Sketch, you know, now. And the other thing is, instead of counting the payments, you're always meeting person after person, ask them, do you have 2 or 3 more people I can meet with? And I just don't be afraid. I swear, when I moved here, I would go, you know, to Keenan and say, do you know somebody at Icebreaker? Do you know somebody at Threads and Bone? Do you know somebody and now? And they'd be like, sure, my brother-in-law works there, my best friend. Then you're meeting people at all the places you want to be and organically, exponentially growing your network. You're not constantly send a thank you email and send a thank you note. They're all designers, and design something cute, you know, or write something. Because a thank you note has pushed me over the edge to hire people over someone else. So send it. If you're brave, send some thank you cookies or chocolate. That's always good too. So yeah. Anything else? Any burning questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. If you guys have questions for me that you didn't feel comfortable asking in the group, come up and ask me. So I love answering questions. And I hope you all add me on LinkedIn. And then I'm having a open house on Tuesday at Code Fellows across from Powell's and behind Doug Martin. Tuesday, 4 to 7 with cupcakes. So come and bring cookies. Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.